From the ruthless precision of Gabriel Batista at Fiorentina to Sergio Aguero's lethal touch at Atletico Madrid, Argentina has always given the football world strikers who carry the weight of an entire team on their backs. And following in that path these days is none other than Inter and Argentina forward Lautaro Martinez. The 5'9" striker has been a smash hit since signing for the Nerazzurri. And while fans have come to see the goals, the passion, and the leadership, they might just be blind to an unsettling truth. Something is brewing beneath the surface, something that could shatter everything for him and Inter Milan. And if it's not fixed soon, the consequences could be disastrous. What's really going on? Stick around, hit that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss this. It took him time, but he has finally worked his way up to become one of the best strikers in the world. We are talking about a guy who can stand shoulder to shoulder with names like Lewandowski, Osimhen, Mbappe, and Erling Haaland. And aside from his goal-scoring exploits, since stepping into Europe in 2018, he has picked up a number of trophies for club and country. He has 2 Serie A titles and 2 Coppa Italia trophies to his name, and he was also a key player when Inter reached the finals of the Europa League in 2020 and the Champions League in 2023. Oh, and let's not forget, he is also a World Cup winner and twice a Copa America champion. You would think that with these achievements at just 27 years old, he would be one of the first names to come to people's mind when they talk about the best strikers in the world. But weirdly enough, it often feels like he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Why is that? Well, before we get into that, let's rewind a little and talk about where it all began. Most people only know him in an Inter Milan shirt, but like every other Argentine footballer, his story started back home in Argentina. He was born on August 22nd, 1997, in a port city called Bahia Blanca, and from the very beginning, little Lautaro, just like his father, who was a former professional footballer, decided to go into football full-time. By the time Martinez was 9 years old, he was already playing for a local club called Linear. In the 2013 season, playing at an under-17 level, the teenager scored 13 goals in the league and even found the back of the net in the final of the National Cup. While Linear would go on to lose that final, Martinez had already made a name for himself. At this stage, it was clear he was too talented to stay there for much longer. His performances had caught the attention of some of Argentina's top clubs, and one of the most eager to snap him up was Racing Club. Their interim coach at the time, Fabio, saw something special in the young striker and pushed hard to bring him in. In January 2014, Racing Club made their move and secured his signature. But as exciting as the transfer was, things didn't start off smoothly for him. He was just a teenager, and moving away from home hit him hard. He struggled with homesickness and at one point even considered packing up his bags and heading back. But fate had other plans. A teammate at Racing by the name of Brian Mancilla stepped in and convinced him to stay. That moment turned out to be a game changer, because from then on, Martinez never looked back. The kid from Blanca would go on to score an incredible 53 goals in 64 matches for Racing's reserve side. It was clear at this point he was destined for bigger things. His first taste of senior football came on November 1st, 2015, where he made his league debut for Racing Club. It was a special moment for him, not just because he was stepping onto the pitch as a professional, but because he was replacing none other than the club legend Diego Milito. Racing won the match 3-0 against Del Norte, and while Martinez did not get on the score sheet that day, it was the beginning of something big. It took him a year to get his first senior goal, but when it finally came in November 2016, during a 1-1 draw with Hurricane, it was clear this was just the start. Over the next few seasons, Martinez grew into a key player for Racing, and by the time he was ready to leave, he had scored 22 goals for the senior team and had cemented himself as one of the most promising strikers in Argentina. By early 2018, his performances had made him one of the most sought-after young forwards in South America. Clubs from Europe were circling, but one team moved faster than the rest: Inter Milan. On May 5th, Racing Club's president confirmed what had been rumored for months: Martinez was heading to Italy. He would officially join Inter for the 2018-19 season. Alright, before we talk about life at Inter so far, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's get into it. Martinez's first season at Inter Milan was a bit of a slow start. Although the Argentine scored 9 goals in 35 games across all competitions, it wasn't particularly impressive, nor was the kind of explosive arrival that garnered attention. But all of that would change the following season, when he really announced himself, bagging 21 goals in 49 games. His 5 goals in 6 Champions League matches that season showed that he wasn't just thriving in Italy, he could also hang with the best in Europe. That was when the comparisons to Sergio Aguero started rolling in, and honestly, it made sense. It wasn't just because they were both Argentine and the same height, it was because they were both deadly in front of goal. Someone who just happens to be a big fan of this comparison is none other than the legend himself, Hernan Crespo. He had this to say to Sky Sports Italia about his countrymen. Lautaro could well be the new Sergio Aguero. He's not as sharp in his dribbling, but he is more of a team player than Kun, who often gets distracted and looks disinterested. Well, this team player is far from being distracted, and he has scored at least 20 goals in the past 3 seasons for his club, and that includes 3 straight Serie A campaigns with 21 or more. To put things into perspective on how much he's been a success at Inter, with 147 goals, he is already the club's 5th highest goal scorer of all time. That means he has outscored legends like Christian Vieri, Mauro Icardi, and Neves. At the time of this video, he is just 16 goals away from passing Sandro Mazzola for 4th place. There is no doubt the Argentine is that guy, but for some reason, it doesn't always feel like it, especially outside of the Inter fanbase. The player must have felt the lack of recognition, especially after finishing 7th in the 2024 Ballon d'Or rankings. Despite being the highest-ranked player in Serie A, when asked about his placement, he did not hold back, calling it unfair, and to be honest, he had a point. He had a fantastic year with Inter, scoring 27 goals and assisting 3 more, while leading the club to a league and cup double. Then, on the international stage, he stepped up for Argentina, scoring 5 goals as they won the Copa America. Even the legendary Lionel Messi backed him, saying he deserved the Ballon d'Or. But did he really? Truth is, he was never going to win it, and probably might never. I know it sounds kinda harsh, but the reason is simple. Despite all his strengths, there is a perception around him that holds him back, and it is. The 27-year-old struggles with finishing and penalty accuracy, and on top of that, he is often criticized for not being a big game player. But how true is this? Is he really a striker who crumbles in crucial moments? Or is he just unfairly judged? Let's break it down. Let me ask you something. If a striker scores lots of goals, but struggles to deliver when it really matters, can he truly be called world-class? Can a player be one of the best in the world? When the pressure is at its highest, he goes missing. This is the big question surrounding Martinez. People who criticize him always bring up the same things. His performances in big games. And honestly, they have a point. Take the Champions League, for example. Yes, he has scored 18 goals in the competition. And yes, some of those goals have been against big teams like Liverpool, Real Madrid, and Barcelona. But were any of those goals in moments where Inter desperately needed him to step up? Not really. Look at the 22-23 season, when Inter made it all the way to the Champions League final. He had played 13 games in the competition and scored just 3 times. And in the 6 knockout matches leading up to the final, he only scored once. Then came the biggest game of his career, the final against Man City. This was his chance to silence his doubters, but instead, he barely made an impact. And if that wasn't enough, the following season in the 23-24 Champions League round of 16, Inter was in a penalty shootout against Madrid. Martinez was one of 3 Inter players who missed their spot kick. Inter got knocked out, and that was all the fuel critics needed. Former AC Milan defender Costa Curta did not hold back, saying Martinez simply does not step up when it really matters. Speaking after Inter's Champions League exit to Atletico Madrid, he pointed out that it was not the first time Martinez had failed to deliver on the big stage. I expected something more of Lautaro. I remember he did not do well at the World Cup, so it makes me think he is unable to emerge on certain stages, but he does have the quality to do so. You need a different determination in Europe. Speaking of the World Cup, there is no sugarcoating it. He was a disaster in Qatar. Argentina went on to lift the trophy, but Martinez had very little to do with it. He scored just once, and that goal came in the shock loss to Saudi Arabia. But what really stood out were the chances he missed in the group stage. They were clear golden opportunities that should have been buried. Those misses forced Lionel Scaloni to make a big decision, and by the time the knockout rounds came, Martinez had lost his starting spot to Julian Alvarez. He would go on to redeem himself against Netherlands, scoring a penalty kick in the shootout, only to reach the final and miss several chances in that nervy game against France. Now, to be fair to him, he has stepped up in some big moments recently. He has scored in 3 different Supercoppa Italiana finals, and he even found the net in the final of the last Copa America. But the thing with Martinez, you never really know what you're going to get. One moment he looks like a world-class striker, and the next he is missing sitters and struggling to make an impact. This inconsistency raises another big question. How much of this is down to confidence? Because if there is one area where he has really struggled, it is from the penalty spot. His record is simply not good enough. Out of 28 career penalty attempts, he has converted just 17. That means his success rate is only 61%, which for a top-level striker is pretty mediocre. And do you know what else is worse than ghosting big games and missing penalties? The answer is completely going missing for long stretches of the season. For a player of his quality, you would expect consistency, but that has not always been the case. Just this season, he went through a brutal spell where he scored only once in 9 games, despite being Inter's top scorer the last year with 24 goals. That kind of dry patch is not what you want from your main goal-getter, especially when he is also the team captain. And here is the thing, this is not just a one-time problem. The goal drought actually stretches back to last season. He started the campaign on fire, scoring for fun and looking like a real contender for the Serie A Golden Boot. And for most of the season, he was leading the race, and there was even talk that he could challenge the all-time record. But when it really mattered, his goals dried up. In the final stretch of the season, his form dipped dramatically. And just like that, he went from being unstoppable to barely making an impact. The Argentine is back in form now, and is pushing to finish the season with another 20-plus goals. But if Martinez truly wants to put himself in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or, just scoring a bunch of goals in Serie A won't be enough. He needs to make his presence felt on the biggest stage, where the best players cement their legacies. Luckily for him, the opportunity is right in front of him. Inter are still fighting for the Serie A title, and more importantly, they are still in the Champions League. If he can step up and lead his team to glory, if he can deliver in high-pressure moments when it really matters, then maybe, just maybe, this could be the season to finally change the narrative. We have come to the end of today's video, but before you go, we have 2 big questions for you. Do you think Martinez has what it takes to be considered a true big game player, or will his inconsistencies always hold him back? And do you believe he can ever win the Ballon d'Or, or is this just a dream too far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you never miss an upload, and stick around, because the next video is packed with even more exciting content. Go ahead and click on it now.